Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to show you how to animate checkbox using HTML and CSS. Alright, let's dive right in. Here is a HTML structure. So this line creates a container div with the ID main container. Inside the container div, there is a label element with the ID main. Within the label element, there is an input element with the type checkbox. Checkbox input is there is a div element with the ID tab. Inside the tab div, there is another div with the ID circle. Finally, there is another div element with the ID gender. Now let's add some CSS. This rule sets some basic style for the entire body of the document. It removes default padding and margin and set the background color to black. Now this rule sets the main container div, position it absolutely on the page, set its width to 240 pixel, center is vertically and horizontally using the top and left transform properties. The display is set to flex and the cursor is set to pointer. Change the cursor to a pointer while hovering over the container. Now this rule styles the main label element. Its position is set to relative. Set its width to 120 pixel and center is horizontally using the left and the justify cell properties. The display is set to block property. The cursor is set to pointer. Now this rule styles the input element inside the main label. The WebKit appearance is set to none because the property removes the default styling of the checkbox. The position is set to absolute. Now this rule styles the tab div. Set its width to 120 pixel, height to 45 pixel, and applies a border radius of 45% to create a rounded shape. The z-index property set its stacking order and transition all 0.3s. This rule styles the circle div. Set its width and height to 45 pixel, background color to aqua, and position it absolutely with the tab div. Box shadow property creates the shadow effect. The z-index property stacking the order above other elements. The border radius property makes it a perfect circle and transition all 0.3s specify the transition effect. This rule targets the circle div when the associated checkbox is checked. Change the background color to deep pink. And applies a different box shadow effect. It also moves the circle to the right by changing the left property to 75 pixel. This rule targets the before pseudo element of the tab div, creates a pseudo element that serves as a background for the tab. It has a height of 45 pixels, span the entire of the tab. It has a linear background that goes from a dark color to aqua. The border radius property creates a rounded shape. The position is set to absolute. The opacity is set to 1. And there is a transition effect applied to CSS property with a duration of 0.3 seconds. Now this rule targets the after schedule element of the tab div, similar to the previous rule. In this, the difference is the background is set from a dark color to deep pink. The opacity is set to 0. And the transition effect is applied 0.3 seconds. This rule targets the before pseudo element of the tab when the associated checkbox is checked. It sets the opacity to 0. Next, this rule targets the after schedule element of the tab. The opacity is set to 1. This rule styles the gender div. Its position is absolute with the parent element. This rule targets the before schedule element of the gender div. It creates a content schedule element that displays the male symbol. Position it absolutely within the gender div. Sets the color to aqua. Just slightly from the top. It also applies a transition effect to all the CSS property with a duration of 1.2 seconds. And increases the font weight to bolder. This rule is set to color deep pink. The left property determines the position shifting to 105 pixel. And finally, we have the content property that inserts the male symbol before the text. I hope you find this tutorial helpful and enjoying in learning about styling gender checkbox using CSS.